Last week, on Sheep Shape, Chad Hall scaled the rugged terrain of Texas in pursuit of the desert aoudad.
I think if we hold out, we can find something bigger on this place. Sounds like a plan to me.
The hunt was tough but rewarding. Chad was able to trim the feral hog population, and after several close encounters, Chad connected by making a long-distance shot on a mature aoudad. Rick Carone touched down in eastern Colorado. He is here to stalk a mule deer with his Matthews bow. It's day one of his hunt, and his team navigates the wide-open terrain by truck. It's the most effective way to cover as much ground as possible. Within a few hours, the team spots a bedded mule deer. They gear up and begin their stalk. With it being the first morning of the hunt, Ty, Rick's guide, decides not to pursue the buck, as he knows there are bigger and more mature deer on this land.
Pretty cool first afternoon. Get on a stalk right away. Heavy, tight muley. Just not a lot of time, like not what we're looking for, especially only being here a few hours. It's a good sign though.
The rolling hills and plains in eastern Colorado provide the deer unlimited access of vegetation to thrive on. More food means bountiful deer populations. This allows Rick and the team to go after the mature bucks.
See the big patch of snow with the naked eye? On a close horizon, not the skyline, but the close. Just go to the left of that. Look at the top of it. That's definitely a better deer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's coming down into the corner.
He seems to be assessing the situation from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
She's looking back behind her like there's more deer coming though.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're coming from that direction that she's looking, that's not the deer that I saw this afternoon. Where the brown weeds make that curve and go back to the east, there's a buck bedded right there.
I'm looking through binocs, Bri. How good?
He's really good. You got, like, I would shoot that deer in 1/2 of 1 second.
Yeah.
Right now.
I could just see frame. I mean, I trust your judgment. You tell me.
He's a good deer.
The team has found a giant buck to make a move on.
It's our first full day hunting. Out here on a mule deer hunt. This is Eastern Plains, Colorado. Some world-class mule deer. And, you know, this is a gift and it's a blessing to be out here. And I tell you what, we're gonna have to put the mule deer shift on the shelf here for a second because Corby behind the camera here and Ty and Brian spotted a monster whitetail buck, and he's pushing 170, so we're out here to deer hunt. My tag's good for whitetail or mule deer, so we're gonna go ahead and look to put a spot and stalk on a wily whitetail buck. The wind's perfect for us. Got a bedded buck. We think he's gotta be with does the way it is. The rut's in full force. And hey, never spotted and stalked a whitetail. This is gonna be the first, so hopefully we'll be able to get in close enough. Get it done.
The team maneuvers through the tall sage in hopes of not alerting the deer. After coming to the ridge behind the last known location, Ty spots the buck bedded down 100 yards away.
I can't see his doe, but he's gotta have a doe locked down right there. There's just But you see him, you see the rack. So that means it's really not all that thick for a shot, right?
Well, where he's at is not thick, but everything behind him is thick, and that's where we're gonna be.
Between us and him, it's real thick, gotcha. Okay. Let's give it our best, brother.
The bedded whitetail is 100 yards from the hunters, so the team has to close the distance to Rick's comfortable shooting distance of 50 yards. Ty has positioned them so they won't be busted by any wind, but the dry sagebrush and grass makes for a difficult and noisy approach. So the team moves slow and low as they crawl into position. The team has successfully eased their way to a distance of 75 yards, but the buck just so happens to stand up to move down the hill. With the opportunity fading away, Rick and Ty make a quick move to close the distance before it is too late. The wind is perfect, and the team closes in on the buck. In a last-ditch effort, Rick comes full draw at 37 yards. Just like that, a 2-hour stalk on a 170-inch whitetail is over in a matter of seconds. The thick vegetation between Rick and the deer has hindered the arrow's flight path. Rick knows this is what you can expect bow hunting, and watches in awe as the giant runs away. This segment has been brought to you by Buck Knives, Edge of a Legend.
So I'd encourage everybody to go on the Gunworks site, and they have a rifle builder tool on there where you can go in and build your own rifle and customize it how you like it. The different options, different colors. You know, you can add the bipod, you can add the rangefinders, you can buy the whole package at once. But the big thing is you can go on there and completely build the rifle just like you like it. This just so happens to be the one that I like. It's kind of their Mountain X version. It's a Magnus stock, fluted barrel in the 7 LRM, which is the Gunworks cartridge.
Gunworks, 1,000 yards out of the box. It is a new day in eastern Colorado. After covering miles of back roads, the team finally has eyes on another promising muley.
Can we get in that roll? We can get most of the way on foot without ever having to cross. And then when we get close, we'll have to slow way down.
Right.
Hopefully we won't need the decoys, but we'll have to.
Yep. We absolutely have to close the distance this hunt right here, right now, because we have a 100% blizzard coming in. It's in the 50s right now, and wind just started picking up, but believe it or not, this is going to be blizzard 5 to 8 inches covered in snow and with about 35-mile-an-hour winds tomorrow, and I fly out the next day. So it's do or die time. We're going to do a stalk on our last afternoon here. But we've got these deer bedded and 2 mature mule deer bucks, which I've never shot one before, so I'm excited. So going to close the deal.
In a fight against time, the team has to move quickly into position on the buck and make sure they don't spook him. It's been a few days of ups and downs, and Rick is ready to set his pins on yet another opportunity.
The main thing about the decoy, one is to calm the does, because if they sense some sort of movement, that decoy will calm them right back down.
Okay.
But the other is we know there's 2 mature deer in there that both have big attitudes right now.
Right.
One of those 2 deer is probably going to try to confront the decoy and come run us off.
Sure.
But when I put that decoy up, that's how you get your bow up off the ground.
Right.
That's how you get an arrow knocked, and that's how you get
Right,
to your
right.
travel cycle.
Okay.
Is behind this.
Okay.
I'm being serious, dude. I think both of those bucks are bedded. Both of those bucks are right here within 75 yards of us right now.
Okay.
We'll take it easy, slip to this top, make sure nothing picks us off, and we'll be ready to knock an arrow.
Am I going to go with you right here? Okay.
Ty and Rick have spotted the buck, but there are multiple deer around him, which increases the odds of getting busted. They know they need to be as quiet as possible in order to close the distance for the shot.
I think our deer are right here. Let's go ahead and get an arrow out.
The buck is now 50 yards in front of them. The team just needs to ease their way another 5 yards in order to have a clear shot.
That's just creeping really slow. This line right here, we want to stay low because he's too low to pick us off.
They have successfully closed the distance. Ty raises his decoy as the deer lock eyes on them. Rick patiently waits for the opportunity to draw back his bow. Rick's opportunity was sealed with a well-placed shot. With excitement in the air, the team gears up and makes their way to the buck, just in time before the storm hits.
I cannot believe this. We went on so many stalks and finally came upon this guy, you know, after one of the most unbelievable 3-time stalks that we did. Had a couple missed shots, had a couple deflections, you know.
Got good mass, big old
good mass, good mature representation, and this is what I wanted to get when I came here. And I filmed you, Brian, last year, and you gave me the opportunity of a lifetime here. My first ever mule deer. Whew. I mean, he's a monarch to me. I don't care what anyone else says. He's something that I'll never forget.
As Rick sits in the pouring rain, he can't shake the joy and feeling of success in this moment. The hunt is about perseverance and dedication, and Rick has accomplished all of this. He and his good friends tag his first mule deer, pack up and head out, an ending to one of Rick's greatest deer hunts. This segment has been brought to you by Wild Sheep Foundation. This segment is brought to you by Gunworks, 1,000 yards out of the box. The autumn air is crisp in the rolling hills of the Midwest. Chad Hall has recently arrived in Illinois for the second annual Team Corone shut-down cancer hunt. The opening day of the firearms season will kick off in a few days. But before then, he will do his best to get a buck with his Matthews bow.
We've been up in the stand about 30 minutes right now. We got in a little bit late. It's real windy. We decided to hang another stand in a stand we didn't have a camera set. And while cameraman was hanging his stand, I had a nice buck come right down the trail, about 20 yards, stared me right in the face. I didn't even have my bow in my hand. I was still packing my backpack at the base of the tree to get up the stand. So we were in the right spot. We just ended at the wrong time. But I hope this wind will die down right about last light and something slips through here that we can try to put an arrow in. So hoping for some good luck.
With the rut in full swing, Chad has high hopes of seeing a big buck that has been roaming the area. An hour passes and Chad catches movement. It's a buck, and it's making its way down a trail 35 yards away.
He must have caught our wind. Nice young buck. Just came out, drank water here in front of us. He's about 35, 40 yards. Looked like he wanted to come back in, but I think he just caught a whiff for a wind and he freaked out. Could have put a whack on him. We're running out of light now, so maybe another 10 minutes we gotta call her quits.
Tomorrow is the opening day of firearms season, so Chad loads his Gunworks muzzleloader and begins the process of sighting in his scope for the coming day.
Here at the range, just about to sight in the Gunworks muzzleloader that I'm going to use tomorrow versus a shotgun. This is the longest distance muzzleloader that I know of on the market, 700-yard range. Pretty nice to know if you can shoot 700 that 100 and 200-yard shot's going to be pretty darn easy. So we want it to be easy when that big buck stands out there tomorrow.
After firing off a few shots and making minute adjustments, Chad heads to camp. The lodge has been donated by Tom Gibson, a fellow hunter, in support of the Team Corone Foundation.
So Rick Corone and I met probably about 3 years ago through a mutual friend, and they had explained the battle that he was going through with cancer. And so I reached out to Rick to introduce myself and find out what we could do to help, and offered to donate a hunt, a 7-day dream hunt that we were going to put on for a couple of hunters, and we did that. It was a success, and so Chad Hall from Sheep Shape actually donated for the hunt, and we were very appreciative of that. Everything went to the Team Corone Fund.
Chad and Rick share stories from the previous hunts and get their powder ready for the next morning.
You realize that this is the first time in 2 seasons of Sheep Shape that we've actually hunted together.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun? Kind of crazy? We've worked out together, we've traveled together, we've never hunted together.
Yeah. You know, knowing what I'm going through and knowing what we've been through as a team, and you know, as Sheep Shape partner, it's pretty awesome that you did this. So I mean, I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I know that came at the right place at the right time, and to have, you know, Tom donate, you know, Agri-Hunt Farms, and not only all the different properties that we're at, but these properties have not been hunted all year, and he set those aside for us, which is pretty special. And yeah,
We should catch him slipping around in the morning and making mistakes, and we'll have a buck pole full of horn.
I hope so.
Awesome meat.
I'm looking forward to that.
This segment has been brought to you by Matthews Archery.
It's opening day, shotgun season here in Illinois. Sun just came up. We've been out here for a little bit now. Had deer in here as soon as it got light. There were 2 fawns, and then a really young buck came in trying to check out the decoy, but he didn't like it at all. And a couple other deer a long ways away. Looked like they were just does, but the field is clear right now. It's kind of slow, and we're just hoping a big guy comes out here pretty soon.
The day drags on. With a winter storm front moving in, the deer start feeding in preparation. Chad decides to head back to camp to get ready for the upcoming day. The temps drop, and the night passes by and reveals a snow-covered land. Chad has to weather the single digits in hopes of getting a chance to see a glimpse of a big buck.
It's still snowing, and the wind's picking up. Got pretty close to 20 mile an hour or better gusts. The snow should stop at some point this afternoon, the weather forecast is saying. But the winds are still going to be strong. The temperature is supposed to drop steady every hour, a few degrees. And we're going to get down to a low, like somewhere between 4 to 6 degrees. So it's going to be really cold. They're laid up right now. They're either going to come out this afternoon, or they're going to come out tomorrow morning. We'll see. We're going to sit here and sit it out the whole time and hope for the best.
The snow falls for hours, giving Chad some time to make a better shooting lane. As the day passes, the snow begins to stop, and the late-day sun peeks from the clouds and shimmers on the snow-covered landscape. A small buck appears and walks away. Suddenly, Chad spots something in the corner of his eye within 10 feet of the blind.
There's a big buck.
A mature whitetail makes its way out of the timber, across a cut cornfield. Chad has to reposition, as the deer has come out through a different opening than anticipated. With seconds to spare before the buck heads into the timber, Chad lines up. It's game time.
And then we chased her around. There's a buck standing right there. It was just like this morning, one at like 10 feet. He's standing there 10 freaking feet. And he's got his back and he puts his head that way. And we thought he walked behind the blind, and then he just starts walking out. And he's a good deer, you know, one that you can't really pass up. I know there's bigger bucks here, but that is a trophy to me. He was spooked from that decoy or from us or something. Started trotting off. I had one little window. It was like now or never, and I shot. Knocked him down.
Chad gets out of his blind to get his hands on his hard-earned trophy. Overwhelmed with excitement, Chad takes a moment to soak in the beauty of his Illinois buck. It's moments like this that a hunter lives for. It's not always about the animal or the size of the horns. It's the thrill of the hunt, experiencing nature at its finest, and the camaraderie of good friends and good people. Chad and Tom have decided to donate all the meat to the food shelters to feed the hungry. Next week on Sheep Shape, Chad Hall and friends head to the steep sheep country of Northwest Territories in search of the legendary Dall sheep, moose, and caribou. It's an unforgettable trip you won't want to miss on Sheep Shape.